Hey guys, it's Kevin with MixCoach, and I'm driving down the road. Please don't be mad at me. I'm looking right over the camera in the traffic, so there's no danger here. Unless you see me wreck, and then there will have been danger. This is episode 9, I think, of the MixCoach Minute. And I didn't have a question fresh on my mind, but I was talking to my friend Graham Cochran over at Recording Revolution the other day. Actually, we were sitting around a fire and talking about gear and all this kind of stuff. And I was sharing a story with him about an analogy of a baseball player and a batter, and what that had to do with vocalists and their need for the old vintage microphones. And he said, that's the kind of stories you need to be telling on MixCoach. So Graham, this one's for you. I'm telling the story. I had a client the other day. So this is not necessarily a question as it is a thought, but it is a MixCoach Minute. Hopefully, it's already been a minute. But anyway, I had a client, a group I was doing, and I ended up going and buying a very, very expensive microphone because I thought that that's what they wanted to be able to do vocals in my studio, because we were traveling around at different studios and doing vocals, and the studios that we were picking had vintage microphones, and I said, if I bought an expensive microphone, would you come and do your vocals here at my place? And they said, sure. Well, I bought a very expensive microphone. It was a U47, and it was not a vintage U47, but anyway, that's here nor there. It was a very good sounding microphone, and it was very expensive for me anyway. Anyway, they still didn't end up doing their vocals at my place. And it made me start thinking, what is it about vocalists and about people in general who are recording? Why do they have to have all this vintage gear, or they think their stuff doesn't sound as good? I mean, and I'm the same way. So I'm not really pointing any fingers. I'm just trying to analyze what's going on in our brains, or the creative brains that we have here. Here's what I came up with. Have you ever noticed, if you live in America, this is baseball season. It's springtime in Nashville, and baseball season's out. Been watching the Braves a little bit. And have you ever noticed when a baseball pitcher is on the mound and he does his wind up, but before he does his wind up even, he looks a certain way over to the side. He takes his hat off. He wipes his brow maybe and puts his hat on, and he wipes his face, and he puts his face in his glove, and maybe he spits, and maybe he holds the ball and twirls it a certain way or something like that. Or maybe they're on a winning streak and they wear the same hat, or maybe the same shirt, or dirty uniforms or something like that. And you kind of think it's superstition or whatever, that why wouldn't they change a certain thing if they got a streak going on? And here's what I've deducted it to, and I hope that's a word. They're the same way as singers. After that pitcher winds up, after he does his ritual thing, and he winds up and he pitches, he has no control over that ball anymore. He has no control of whether it's really going to, he may be good, but he has no control of whether that ball is going to go right across the plate or right across the edge of the plate, even whether it's going to be a strike or a ball. Some pitchers are better than others, but most of the time they have no control of that, and they have even less control of how good the batter is, and how, if the batter is going to be able to connect with the ball and knock it out of the park and get a home run and make them look bad. So you're wondering what that has to do with mics. I think a lot of singers and a lot of players, they have a ritual of not just like the pitcher, but a lot like the pitcher. They want a certain studio, they want a certain microphone, maybe they want a certain preamp, or maybe a certain engineer or producer. It's because it's their ritual, and it's the only thing they can control, because they don't have a lot of control, just like the pitcher doesn't have a lot of control after he throws the ball. He doesn't have a whole lot of control of what happens after it leaves his hand. So he does everything he can to control what he can control before he pitches the ball. Same thing with the vocalist. They pick out a certain studio. Maybe they want a certain drink in the studio, or maybe they like to record at a certain time of the day, or maybe they like to listen to a certain song before they sing, or maybe a musician, maybe a mixer even. Maybe some of you guys have a certain ritual that you have before you actually do your thing, because especially if you're a singer or a player, even though you may be really good at your craft, you really don't have a whole lot of control of if your allergies are going to be acting up, or if your ears are going to be ringing, or if you're going to be in the mood to mix or whatever. So anyway, that's my theory of why some singers, and why I had to buy a $6,000 mic only to not use it. Oops, I said how much it was. So that's my theory of why singers have to have certain things in a certain way, maybe sing in a certain day. It's ritual. And if you think about it, we all have rituals. So let me ask you a question. Since this is not necessarily a question you've asked me, and please answer on the Facebook wall if you don't mind. And I will put a link under this video if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're watching on MixCoach. Let's either answer on MixCoach or Facebook, and let me know, what are some of your rituals, or even better yet, what are some of the silliest rituals you've ever seen? So anyway, check out MixCoach Member, because that's one of the reasons I wanted to answer some questions from some of my members. And I think that you're doing yourself a disservice if you're not knowing some of those guys on MixCoach. So look us up at MixCoachMember.com and let me know what some of your rituals are, or some of the silliest rituals you've ever seen an artist have, okay? Thanks for watching today. I'm really honored that you would watch these videos every day, and keep the questions coming, okay? See you soon. Bye.